Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and these are my top 10 movies of 2019. So, yes, this list and this video is getting out a little bit later than everybody else's list, but I wanted to be absolutely certain that I had my top 10 in order. So I had to see just one movie this past week which I thought may have the potential to break into the list. But now I feel confident. I feel I've seen most every film I need to see from the year to put my stamp on it and submit my 10 favorite films of 2019. Now, of course, this is my list, just my opinion, has nothing to do with box office, critical scores, or, well, anything other than how I feel about the films. So if you don't see your favorite film on here, that's what makes film a whole lot of fun. And I really look forward to discussing everyone's favorite films in the comment section down below. So make sure to leave your own list. So without further ado, let's get into the countdown. Knives Out turned out to be one of the funnest movie-going experiences I had in all of 2019. I ended up actually seeing this film 3 times in the movie theaters, which you'll notice is a theme throughout this list. And even after I knew what was coming, after I knew what was going to happen, I still had a lot of fun with Knives Out each and every subsequent viewing. The script is so witty, razor sharp, delivered by wonderful performances across the board, in a really fun story with a wonderful score and a really stylish set. Directed perfectly by Rian Johnson, Knives Out was just a blast. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is one of those films that just affected me more than most other movies did throughout the year. What I really loved here actually was Marielle Heller's direction. I love the direction she took this entire film in. This isn't just a Mr. Rogers biopic. What she managed to do was capture an essence, an aura, a feeling, and it was just so beautifully done and handled. Instead of going step by step and moment by moment for Fred Rogers' life, we are invited into the spirit in which he embodied and promoted. Tom Hanks delivers an absolutely sublime performance as Mr. Rogers himself, not only the look, but the characteristics and mannerisms, as well as that spirit he just exuded, the warmth and the feel of Mr. Rogers. It's set up like a long, really high value, wonderfully sophisticated episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and I fell in love with it. That's right, Midsummer is my favorite horror film of 2019. I loved most everything about this movie. First of all, it's the year of the Pugh, the year of Flo herself, and Florence Pugh more than put her stamp on Midsummer. As Danny, she is exquisite. But so is Jack Rayner as her horrible boyfriend, and really this entire cast is strong. But the real MVP is most definitely Ari Aster. The direction of this movie is flawless. I think it is legitimately perfect. The transitions, the use of camera and angle, it's all just mind-blowing. The cinematography is absolutely stunning. I also think the script is oddly cathartic in a sick and twisted kind of way. But the metaphors just shine through. This is another one I saw 3 times in the movie theater. 2 times at just the normal type of viewing, and then I went out and I saw the director's cut when that was released as well, and I was completely transfixed with each viewing. It engrossed me, it thrilled me, and it accomplished all of the proper effects. So Midsummer made its way into my top 10. My favorite animated film of the year. I actually enjoyed quite a few animations this year. Hidden World affected me on a completely different level than any other animated film did this year. And honestly, it got the biggest kind of emotional reaction out of me, I think, out of pretty much any film period in 2019. I've loved every step of this trilogy, and this was a really beautiful conclusion to this 9-year journey we've been on with both Hiccup and Toothless. I thought Toothless getting to be kind of the main character and getting his own autonomous storyline was really fantastic. Him and the Light Fury were wonderful together, and that really sophisticated idea of friendship and letting go and trusting one another between he and Hiccup was just executed to perfection. The score is stunning yet again. This animation is absolutely breathtaking. And it got me. Got that lump right here in the throat by the end. I absolutely loved this film, and I couldn't imagine my top 10 without it. This is another film that got me. Another one that got to me. So I've been raised by my grandmother, and I still live with and take care of her to this day. So automatically, I was invested and hooked on the idea and the premise, and I knew it was going to be a tough and personal watch, and I was right. Zhao Shuzhen is so amazing as Nai Nai in this film. What a revelation she is, right? But she really is everyone's grandmother. She's the world's grandmother for 2019, and it couldn't have been more deserved. She invites you into the family, and honestly, this film at large just invites you into the family. I never felt like I was really watching a movie. I felt like I was at the dinner table. I felt like I was at the wedding. I felt like I was in on all of these crazy, wonderful, just beautiful moments. Aquafina gives a career-defining performance. All of our supporting cast is very strong as well. This script is beautiful, and Lulu Wang really directs a fine-tuned, emotional, personal machine. It's a wonderful film that I can see myself revisiting time and time again because it gets all of the emotions out of me, both happy and sad, but I loved the farewell. In the year that we received so many stories about economic injustice and inequality, so many movies focused on basically kill the rich. that was the main theme of 2019. Kill the rich. Parasite came out on top of them all. It executed that message better than any other film in a crowded marketplace for the year. First of all, this entire ensemble is stunning. They work together like a well-oiled machine, all delivering strong, distinct, standout performances, making this not only an entertaining watch, but a transformative watch. Secondly, this script is perfection. I don't think the script could have been any better as we work our way through a quirky, dark comedy into one of the most visceral third acts of the year. But as we make these transitions, as we turn in the script and in the film, everything is earned, everything feels natural. It all provides adequate payoff to what we had been building up to at that point. The score is also very strong, and Bong Joon-ho delivers stellar direction. Parasite is both over the top yet sophisticated in how it delivers everything it wants. And honestly, it's just kind of a masterclass in filmmaking, I think. It is really that good. What can I say? I know. Avengers Endgame all the way up at number 4 for me. And this was a hard one for me to actually rank in my top 10 because I did really love the film, but I also had some pretty big problems with the movie overall. And if I'm being honest, the problems stick out more than I think any of the films below it on this list and certainly above it. However, no other film on this list, including my number 1, my number 2, my number 3, none of them have the highs that Avengers Endgame brought me to in that movie theater and even upon home watching. Of course, this is another multi-viewing film. I saw this 4 times in the movie theater. Each and every time, I was taken on the emotional roller coaster that was Endgame. Tony Stark is given such wonderful development and really provides some of the best character work in a ensemble film, certainly within the Marvel universe, but maybe period. In such a big crowded space, he and Steve Rogers go through really authentic and moving transformations as we move through. Of course, the action and the special effects are, untouched, unrivaled. They are absolutely stunning. But this was just a feat. Over 20 films, over a decade worth of movies, dozens of characters and storylines, all brought together, all woven into this really beautiful work of a film to deliver both unexpected yet satisfying fan service yet gut wrenching material. And it just blows my mind that they were able to pull it off and accomplish something this well done for that huge a feat. So, even though I have those problems with the movie overall, the highs and my appreciation and my love of just the film itself far outweigh those, and that's why I had to get this up to number 4. I loved this movie. If not for the dang BB villain character just being so ridiculous, villain twirly over the top, and not quite enough Ferrari himself, this movie would be perfect to me. James Mangold really directed a fine-tuned racing machine here. First of all, I've never seen racing depicted any better. And I'm a racing fan, believe it or not. I am into motorsports. Never in film have I seen visceral, amazingly shot racing sequences like this. Of course, that's aided by the wonderful, perfect sound design, as well as the stellar, top-of-the-line cinematography. What's getting overlooked, I think, is how good this script is. Yes, it plays by a certain formula. Not only does it knock that formula right out of the park, it builds upon it to give us this friendship that is grounded, real, and earned throughout. Christian Bale turns in one of the best acting performances of the year. He's wonderful. Matt Damon also, I think, is an unsung hero as he quietly props everything in this movie up to where it needs to be. The score is beautiful. The production and costume designs are perfect. And I honestly just loved Ford v Ferrari. From start to finish, I was glued to the screen on the edge of my seat, loving every second of this film. I am honestly flabbergasted that this movie is all the way up at number 2 for me. But I think that 1917 is just about perfect. Sam Mendes delivers, in my opinion, the best directing accomplishment of the year. He takes the one take premise and completely elevates it to a level we've never seen before in cinema. Of course, we have the disguised cuts as we move throughout. However, Mendes straight up delivers these insanely long takes over and over throughout the entirety of this film. He does it as we're moving and we're kinetic and we're going somewhere in this amazing production design that just blew my mind. We have some eye-opening performances in this film, as well as, for my money, the best musical score of 2019. The cinematography from Roger Deakins is just sublime. I mean, what are you gonna do? This is perfection. The visual effects are amazing. The costume designs are just as stellar as the production design. But what makes this stand out as a war film is not only the fact that technically it's perfect. There is not a flaw in the technical. But emotionally, it holds up just as strongly. That's what sets it apart from these visceral war films that we've received so far, is that it matches up the thrilling, heart-racing action moments with a really emotional, human-driven story that you can connect to and latch on to and root for as a moviegoer. 1917 is amazing, and I hope it rides all of these waves into the Oscars because I think it deserves every accolade it can get. Before I unveil my number 1 pick, my favorite film of 2019, let's go over the honorable mentions. And we have a lot because I loved a lot of film this year. Booksmart was probably my favorite straight up comedy of 2019 with a stellar directorial debut from Olivia Wilde and some really wonderful performances rooted in a great friendship story. Us delivered sophisticated horror with beautiful cinematography, an amazing musical score, and one of the best acting performances delivered by Lupita Nyong'o that had us both terrified yet completely engrossed. Hustlers beautifully blended the fun you were hoping for when you saw those trailers with a deeper message that allowed the audience to become very empathetic with acts clearly in that gray zone of morality. Not to mention, Jennifer Lopez delivers a career best performance as the standout of the film. The Nightingale was one of the toughest films for me to watch in 2019, but it delivered a wonderful lead performance as well as some deeper messages than I had originally anticipated, not only about feminism and the horrors of being a woman in history, but also about the indigenous culture and horrors that were brought upon them in Australia. Some of the hardest material to watch, but some of the deepest emotional ties of the year. The Lighthouse paired two powerhouse performances from Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson with a really strong, fun, innovative, forward thinking script and some of the most beautiful cinematography of 2019. I couldn't stop thinking about this film long after I left that theater. Peanut Butter Falcon delivered one of the most heartwarming, well developed friendship stories of 2019, as we had a script written for an actor with Down syndrome to get to play a heroic lead man. Shia LaBeouf continues his wonderful year, also giving a really great performance in this wonderful, funny, heartwarming tale. Queen and Slim was one of the more exciting films I had seen in 2019, with this Bonnie and Clyde, Thelma and Louise set it off style premise. Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith provide needed chemistry as well as the acting chops to deliver the emotional moments with a wonderful debut directorial performance and some beautiful cinematography. Queen and Slim hit just the right balance of romance and thrills. Toy Story 4 was perceived as an unneeded fourth installment to what was a perfect trilogy, but it proved its worth with a really sophisticated story, bringing Woody's tale to a conclusion, while giving us one of the most complex, well thought out villains in all of Pixar's storied history. The animation was just a cherry on top of a well crafted sundae. Rocketman was the musical biopic done right, a complete and total blast of a fairy tale true story of Elton John, who is portrayed expertly by Taron Egerton. The costumes are to die for, the musical sequence are full of innovation, Egerton's singing voice is amazing, and it was one of the most enjoyable film going experiences of the year. And finally, my honorary number 11, Honey Boy was one of the most interesting, complex, and deep movie-going experiences I had in 2019, giving a career best performance from Shia LaBeouf as he bears his soul in an extremely personal, yet raw and surprisingly open script about his own life and father. Noah Jupe plays our lead wonderfully in this hauntingly beautiful tale that ends up being oddly cathartic. And finally, my number one, my favorite film of 2019. I have to admit, I swapped my number one and my number two back and forth. If I'm being real, they are virtually tied in my book. I love them both so much, and I think both films are pretty much perfect. However, Portrait of a Lady on Fire just brought the feels and brought such deeper levels of filmmaking that it had to be pushed up to that top spot. Adele Haenel, particularly, I think, is absolutely stunning and completely captivating in this film. But her and Noemi Merlant have this undeniable, beautiful, completely intoxicating chemistry throughout this film. It amazingly executes this slow build of beautiful construction, stellar character work, set against perfect cinematography. This is one of the most beautiful films, not only of 2019, but possibly of the entire decade. It is expertly, perfectly directed, by Celine Sciamma, set to an enveloping score with a beautiful sound design, with beautiful costumes. In this bygone era, it delivers some really powerful messages of women in the time better than any other film in 2019, while not getting lost in the beauty and letting the audience experience this forsaken romance. Oh, it steals your heart, it wonders your eyes, and I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait for my chance to revisit Portrait of a Lady on Fire because it is my favorite film of 2019. A uniquely personal story that is just perfect. So that is my top 10 films of 2019. What did you think of my list? And more importantly, what are your favorite films of 2019? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. And if you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.